Shopping malls, grocery stores, and speeding subcompact hybrids. These places have one thing in common: playing Taylor Swift repeatedly. Finding myself in these places gave me the ability to see this pattern, which got me thinking, how much did her latest release actually make her? So I did some research. Hello and welcome to Idea Jars. In this video, I want to go over Taylor Swift's latest release, Red, Taylor's version. We're going to discuss the situation that ultimately led to this release, and lastly, ballpark how much she made from it. Let's get into it. Red was first released in 2012 under Big Machine Records, an independent record label that specializes in country and pop artists. This album, at the age of 14, is where she signed her first record deal in 2006. This label released Taylor's first 6 albums, including Swift's self-named album in 2006 and the album Fearless in 2008. I heard Red, 2012, being played everywhere, which makes sense considering that 4 of the 7 songs on that album were on the Billboard Top 100 chart for weeks, with hits such as I Knew You Were Trouble and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together being in the top 10. The Red Tour also did remarkably well, raking in a $150 million gross. This is also the album where Taylor's shift in sound and in writing are very evident, mixing country and a bit of pop, rock, folk, and some electronic elements. I believe that Red 2012 caused Taylor to get more eyes on her work. She already had a growing fan base, but her decision to make this album mixed genred is what created an even bigger fan base. That and her authentic writing about whatever or whoever or simply things that people can relate to also helped with that album's popularity. Now, it's been all over the news that Taylor has re-recorded her Red album so she could own most of the rights to those songs. If you don't already know why, the record label that she was under, Big Machine Records, where the master versions of the original songs were produced, was acquired by Scooter Braun, founder of Schoolboy Records and Ithaca Holdings, LLC, and more, for $300 million. With Braun becoming the new owner of Big Machine, he has become the owner of all the records that were produced under Big Machine. You can probably see where the tide is turning. Taylor was allegedly blocked from using any of her older material, including work from the 2019 AMAs, and to top it all off, Scooter took a deal with Shamrock Holdings, a private family investment firm owned by Roy E. Disney. This is where Scooter would go and sell the master versions of Taylor's work to the firm for a giant sum of $300 million, and with the benefit of still being able to profit off of the master versions continuously. It's very unfortunate, but it's not like the private firm or Scooter didn't let Taylor have a chance to have anything. Scooter was generous enough to offer her the chance to bid for ownership against the Shamrock deal. For the asking price of the deal would be, I'm not sure. Most likely the $300 million price tag Scooter sold it for in the end. I couldn't find a definite answer, but we can assume based on her actions and her words, which I'll put a link in the description, the asking price was everything but fair. She unsurprisingly declined and took her own path like Thanos and said, fine, I'll do it myself. She called Scooter an incessant, manipulative bastard and went off to re-record all her work from the 2012 Red. Let me slow down a bit. You may be asking, how was she able to take music that was no longer, in a way, hers, and still make them hers by remaking them her way? Well, it pays to be the talent in this situation. To put it simply, the master version of the song is the official, original recording of a song. This focuses on the sound that is released for all to hear after the finished recording, not when it's first published, which focuses on the rights of the words and the melody of the song. Since she did write all of those songs and is the main songwriter, she is still able to use the publication of those songs however she pleases. And however she pleases, she sure did. Jake Gyllenhaal was probably more shocked to see hot tea rebrewing because of Red. I'm not going to go into the Jake situation, but know that Gyllenhaal plays a good part in Red, Taylor's version. Airing out dirty laundry, reclaiming what is hers, and recreating her art the way she foreseen it to begin with. She is thriving, to say the least. I think it's empowering to see that she was able to pick up her pen, re-experience those heartbreaking times, and be able to turn around and come out even more victorious by reclaiming what is honestly and rightfully hers. Scooter should have seen this coming. Considering that she is not one to step down or walk away without being heard first, he should have seen it coming. I'd like to add that Taylor Swift is not new to making money. She was listed as number 1 on Billboard's top paid artists in 2020, with an estimate of $23.8 million. What makes this release different from 2012 are the situation and experiences that took place. She is now 32 and has been in love a couple times since then. Also, she added collaborations with people like Chris Stapleton, added songs that she gave away to other artists, and songs that has never been heard before on Rez Taylor's version.
It's an opportunity for me to go back and re-record all the music that was on the original album, and then what I'm really excited about is these songs that no one's ever heard before that were supposed to be on that album. And I've got artists like Chris Stapleton and Phoebe Bridgers featured on them.
I mean, come
on. Now, I want to talk about how much red put green in Taylor's pockets. According to a New York Times article, Taylor Swift earned her 4th number 1 in 16 months with New Red upon the first week of release, Red Taylor's version. Quote, it has the equivalent of 605,000 sales in the United States, according to MRC data, Billboard's tracking arm. That total includes 303 million streams and 369,000 copies sold as a complete package. End quote. This would be a projected streaming royalty of at least $1.2 million in just Spotify streams alone, according to some number crunching I did on musicgateway.com, a streaming royalty converter. I wasn't able to find a way to get how much Taylor would get from the amount of copies sold from the album entirely, but according to musicindustryhowto.com, songwriters are guaranteed a physical mechanical royalty from every unit sold. That includes CDs, vinyls, cassettes, etc. In the United States. The royalties come out to about 9 cents every time a song is either sold or reproduced. This would mean that in her first week, Taylor earned a little over $5,505. That's not including any vinyls or cassettes or any other units. I also wanted to combine how much her online store would make her as well. Since her music and what she has on her site go hand in hand, I feel like it's only fair to add that to her ever-growing gold hill. Before I started doing any research, I went on her merch site, TaylorSwift.com, just to see what was on there. CDs, vinyls, exclusive photo art, iconic rings, and scarves we all know too well, just to list off a few items that are on that site. This also includes the 2022 merch she dropped in late 2021. It's got us all feeling ready for 22 with photo props and party hats. I did some digging on the web to see what would be an equivalent to a web merch stand, and according to tonedeaf.thebrag.com, touring artists earn between 10 to 15% of their revenue through merch sales. Now, put this in numbers to a situation where the merch is completely owned by the artist, meaning that it is not owned by a third party, so there is even more automatic revenue. It's easily accessible, and since it's online, it can be shopped and shipped from nearly anywhere. It's also more than just your typical hoodie and tee. Taylor's merch also speaks to her listeners, kind of like Drake's iconic orange puffer jacket from Hotline Bling. Having merch like this makes fans feel closer to their musician and part of a community only they understand. Let's get a closer estimate of how much she would make from her merch. I found Prada.com, where the article, she's definitely not in the red, states that Billboard estimates Swift sells $17 worth of merchandise for every ticket sold to one of her shows. The hyperlink for this claim was no longer available, but going off of this number and looking at tickets sold from her latest tour, which was in 2018, the Reputation Stadium Tour, we're looking at an estimate of 2,762,038 numbers of tickets sold. I got this number from TaylorSwift.fandom.com. There were a few stadiums that didn't list how many tickets were sold from certain locations, so what I did was take the maximum capacity for a concert stage. Since the other locations were all sold out shows, I'm confident that the few that were not listed were also sold out, and if not, then they were very close. So 2,762,038 from all the seats or tickets sold times 17 from the estimate dollar amount from the Billboard claim for each ticket sold would be an equivalent about $46,952,646 of assumed revenue. With just her merch alone, she is sitting on a pretty penny. The information I gathered for this video has only been an estimate on what she made with just her release of Red Taylor's version, which altogether is easily over $50 million. Although these numbers are huge, they barely scratch the surface on her net worth. Deep diving into what makes her worth $400 million as of 2021 is a whole nother can of worms, real estate, and brand deals. Taylor Swift's endless resilience, hard work, and assets concludes in hearing about her anytime and anywhere. She is everywhere. Whether a fan of hers or not, this move is impressive and has given hope for other artists that has seemed to have lost everything due to their record label taking advantage of their musical rights. Those artists now have a loophole that is very much in their favor. All they need is a strong will, a formidable platform, a diehard fan base, a good legal team, and to be the head talent of their work.
Years ago where I made it very clear that I wanted to be able to buy my music. That opportunity was not given to me, and it was sold to somebody else. And so I just figured I was the one who made this music first. I can just make it again.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. So that's what we're doing. So when something says in parentheses Taylor's version next to it, that means I own it, which is exciting.
Hey, thanks for watching. I believe I like this form of video best, so I'll try to make more like this. Let me know what you think in the comments, and please do not forget to subscribe if you like what you see. My name is Janice, this is Idea Jars, and I'll see you the next time I open up my Idea Jars. Thanks again for watching. Have a good evening, day, or night. Bye-bye.